Hey everybody, I got Kim and Bill today. Kim is a realtor here in the Pinellas County, but she does Pasco, she does everything, and you guys all know Bill. So today what we're going to do is we're going to get down to the truth, okay? We're going to try to break it down to what's really going on in Florida's housing market.
Okay.
Because some people are showing videos that it's crashing, some people are saying it's just normal housing market, and some people saying that it's actually picking up. For me, in the inspection side, it's actually picking up quite a bit.
Yes, right.
I'm literally up about 35% over the same time period as last year. So what we're going to do, no holds barred, okay, I got two realtors here and I'm a home inspector, as you guys know. We're going to talk about market trends and declining factors. We're going to talk about buyer and seller behavior, what's going on with them, affordability and cost of living, new construction, investment trends, and future outlook and advice. So stay till the end because that's the important part, you know, the advice that they're going to give. In the meantime, if you like this kind of video, do me a favor, consider subscribing. It really does help out the channel. All right, guys, whoever wants to jump in. What is the biggest factor contributing to the current decline in Florida's housing market? Or is it declining?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely come down.
Of course.
Okay, what's the biggest factor?
Well, obviously, interest rates that spiked back up, it stalled it out completely. For me, the house prices rose so fast, so much, and that was supposed to keep pace with the low interest rates. But now that the interest rates are up, the house prices are still up here. And now nobody can afford. Very few people that move to Florida, Floridians, can afford it. It has to push the prices down.
Bill, you agree or disagree?
No, I agree with that. And we've talked about that before, where everything, you know, over that 3-ish year period, just shot through the roof during those unicorn years. And obviously wages didn't keep up with it. That's why we see a lot of transplants coming into Florida, because their wages are typically higher in some instances. And Floridians, we've done videos on that, where the Floridians are getting pushed out because you just can't keep up right now.
No, the locals, basically, the people that are brought up in Florida and have Florida salaries are the ones pretty much getting screwed out still.
Yeah.
You know, before, you know, during the pandemic, you know, when everything was like the unicorn years, you could sell your house within hours. They had no chance, and somehow they still don't have a chance. Don't you guys agree with that?
Well, yeah. I mean, prices haven't come down enough yet, and I don't think they're going to come down like crash down like I see some of these videos that we referenced when we were looking at this.
Feathering down.
Yeah, we're gonna drop a little, but not. If people think that we're going to drop back to pre-pandemic levels, I don't think that's going to happen without some sort of a black swan event.
All right, so let me ask you guys this question. Are certain areas of Florida seeing a sharper decline than others? If so, why?
Oh, for sure. Like Punta Gorda, Cape Coral, Fort Myers.
Yeah, they're hurting.
They're really hurting, yeah.
But why do you think they're hurting more than, like, say, this area? Carpet Springs, Pinellas?
Well, there was a lot of building going on down there, and there's a lot of waterways. There's a lot of waterfront properties down there for cheap.
Yeah.
You know, but when people thought they were getting such a good deal, but then if they were here during the summertime, they didn't realize that half the businesses closed for the entire 6 months of the year, or they closed down at 9 o'clock, whatever's left. It's not a fun city. There's no industry.
Yeah, and hurricanes hurt them pretty bad too over the years.
And they're a magnet.
They're a magnet for hurricanes.
Yeah, further south, absolutely.
Because like every year it seems like we get spared at the last second. You know, it either heads north of us or south of us. You know, and they say it's because of the Indians, the Safety Harbor.
The Tocobago Indians.
So you guys look up Safety Harbor and look at the Indian grounds.
Yeah, and Jungle Prada.
Yeah. All right, so you talked about this one before. Have rising interest rates impacted home sales? You said yes. Okay. Now, do you guys think that interest rates are going to come down?
Of course, everything, what goes up comes down.
All right, let me rephrase it. Do you guys think it's going to go back down to 3 and 4%?
No, it never should have been there to begin with.
No. If you just look at the history of interest rates, let's go pre-pandemic, pre-2019. If you look at the history of interest rates, we were roughly bouncing between that 5% to 6.5%, give or take, for almost a decade straight. Yeah. There may have been a few months there, if you're looking at prime, that went down into like 4.95. But realistically, the average was about 5.75, give or take.
never should have fell that low.
Yeah, that just introduced so many buyers into the market.
Yeah, we had a 50% gain in values.
Nobody can explain why they kept it there so long either. That's the weird part.
Right.
And you know, some people are saying, oh, we're going to lose the 50% gain. I don't believe we're going to lose the 50%
I
gain.
don't see that happening without a black swan event, like I said a few minutes ago. It's just, and nobody wants that.
No, nobody wants that. Okay, what role do insurance costs and hurricane risks play in Florida real estate market downturn?
That's great. Well, I mean, you know, the hurricanes rocked our world last year.
We got our ass handed to us on that one.
I mean, we're not even close to being out of the woods with that. I mean, so many people I know that said, oh, you know, my insurance paid, you know, which I'm grateful for, and my premium didn't go up. Well, guess what? It just went way
because
up.
even though you didn't do a claim, other people did, and the insurance companies have to make up for it.
It just didn't go up immediately. But
Right.
it is every month that goes by, they're getting new renewals and things like, and it's going up.
And if you have a mortgage, you have to get insurance. A lot of people are going bare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically with no insurance.
Yeah, if they don't have a mortgage, then they can go bare. You know?
Which I think is a dangerous thing. You know, if you don't have a mortgage, you go what's called a la carte. You know, some insurance just do fire, theft, and liability, but it's better than going bare. You guys agree?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Have to have liability.
So we got hit 2 years in a row, at least up in Hudson, you know, with hurricanes. And as soon as somebody rebuilt, you know, they got hit again. Now, do you think it's smart buying a ranch home in a flood area?
No.
Okay.
By no means.
You're rolling the dice.
Oh, that's Russian roulette.
Yeah, and you know, like if you look historically, just growing up here on the water. I mean, I grew up on the water, so we didn't have these issues. We didn't have as much infrastructure. We didn't have as much building that's going on. So, but if we're just talking tidal surge, you know, we had Hurricane Elena when I was growing up. We had the no-name storm. The no-name storm was worse than Hurricane Elena.
Yeah, that blew out windows.
Yeah, that storm, and it just sat there and just pummeled us for days.
I lived on Clearwater Beach then. That was weird.
That was a very weird storm. And I remember sandbagging the fire station.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically we get hit again this year, or it might be another 30 years before we get hit again.
Exactly.
So you never know. But you guys both are saying, as realtors, you would not buy a ranch in a flood area. Okay.
No, personally,
I'd be scared.
I would. Yeah, it's just, you have to, as we've discussed before, you have to have your tolerance level as to what you want.
I wouldn't do it.
Right, but some people just don't care. And they want to live on the water, they want to live that lifestyle, and I completely
That's why I'm
understand
building 18 feet up on stilts. Okay. Are investors pulling back from the Florida market, and how is that affecting home prices? Are investors pulling back?
Okay, who's the small investor or
Small
the
investors, or the big ones. What do you think is going to happen with investing in Florida? You think they're going to go to other areas?
Well, I don't. The problem I'm seeing with my investors is right now I'm looking for properties that they can cash flow immediately, and I'm not able to find it. So it's few and far between. So they're like, well, where should I go? What should we do? And I'm saying to them, it's like, just be patient right now. Every time is on your side.
Yeah, but isn't that like, you know, that everybody once one of those properties come up, there's like 1,000 offers on investors coming in?
Yes, there's so few and far between. And then I've got them sending me one saying, oh, this one looks good, this one looks good. And I said, okay, that house flooded, and they're just trying to offload it for the land value.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen is you're going to come in and rehab this ranch, back to the previous question, and then it's not insurable.
If it passed the 50% rule.
But it's not.
Yeah,
That's why they're offloading it for cheap.
For land value.
All right, let's switch to buyers and sellers behavior. Are you guys seeing more sellers struggling to get offers compared to last year on their homes?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely. The house has to be well priced now, and there's a lot more choice.
And we're doing a video after this video on what it takes to sell a home now in Florida. So make sure you check that one out too. So you both agree it's a lot tougher right now.
Oh, yeah.
What's the biggest hesitation buyers have when looking at Florida properties right now? What's their hesitation?
Money.
Just the money?
Well, it's all about the money at the end of the day.
Okay.
Yeah, price is a big thing. I'm noticing that people are starting to make concessions on what they want because of price.
Okay.
Like where they want to live, you know, they maybe go a little bit further than really where they want to be because of price, or they get a house that they are going to have to put a little more love into because of the price.
Or you think people are worried about a recession in the economy and pushing back right now?
Yeah, I think so.
Just their job stability too.
Yeah, but you know, the people that we're talking about, because you have those two camps. You have the people that are super cautious, super concerned about the future of their job or just jobs in general in the economy. Not necessarily the real estate economy, but just the economy in general. So they're putting the brakes on things and they're pausing. Then you have the people who have to move because of some sort of a reason, right? That they don't have a choice. You know, so yes, we are low. Comparatively, we're low as far as sales volume month to month compared to last year, just a little bit, without going into a bunch of stats. But we still have people buying and selling houses. So what I feel like people portray that nobody's buying houses, you know.
And they're buying them because I'm busy 7 days a week.
It's just, I think it's a different buyer.
A lot of my buyers, well, not my buyers, I'm the inspection guy, but when I talk to them, a lot of them are paying cash for the home.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cash buyers. And I'm noticing these people that are buying homes, they're older.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, and a lot of the homes I'm doing are way over $1 million, $2 million. You know, very expensive homes are starting to move.
Right.
I'm not getting any first-time home buyers, nothing. That's flatlined.
All right, are home buyers looking for an alternative states instead of Florida? If so, why are they going? Do you think that people are just saying, you know, there's too much going on in Florida right now? Let me go to Tennessee or
Georgia is the number one I'm hearing.
Yeah, if they can.
Yeah.
You know, if they have the ability to go. It just depends on the person.
Well, U-Haul, they did a survey, and one-way trips to U-Haul, the number one used to be Florida, but now it's South Carolina. So there's more one-way trips to South Carolina, you know, than
in the southern states.
In the southern states,
I think is what.
But there's still people moving out of California and New York and places like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and after the wildfires, there's a lot of people that we've talked about that too, where you're going to get a lot of people moving because they can't get built. I mean, just look at what's happening here, getting permits. I just talked to a customer that was listing on Madeira Beach after the hurricane. They should have been done. That was their projected date, was next month, you know, April. And they haven't even gotten there. They said, Bill, I just got my permits.
All right, what about this?
Treasure Island's worse.
How long are homes sitting on the market compared to last year?
Oh, I think the average time they're sitting on the market now is what, 47 days?
Yeah, depending
average,
on the area.
That's every listing in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, if you take all of Tampa Bay, you kind of get to that
condos
average.
are taking what, almost 90 days?
At least.
Yeah,
condos are in.
So we're going to be talking about condos really quick, but let's talk about it. So everybody says there's a fire sale going on in condos because of insurance, because of HOAs, special assessments.
Yep.
So do you think it's smart to buy a condo now, or you think it's dumb to buy a condo now?
Well,
you see the questions?
Well, okay, but it depends because it depends who's buying it. Like there's so many people, they just can't take care of the house.
Yeah.
So they have to have that condo lifestyle.
Right.
So they'll always be needed,
But what should they do if they're buying it? Should they, talk to the HOA, see the reserves, look at the reports?
Oh, absolutely.
Please do.
Yeah.
What's coming down the pike?
And are all realtors created equal when you're shopping for a condo?
No.
Not at all.
No.
But you have to understand the milestones, you have to understand the financial reports, the previous year's minutes, and if there's assessments coming up when they had an assessment. So, just because it says in the disclosure, we don't have any assessments that I know of coming up, that doesn't mean they went to the meeting.
Right.
I've had people say, oh, I just came from the meeting and we're gonna be listing soon. And it's like, oh, you just had a budget meeting for next year.
And they're going to increase.
And they want to get out now.
Yeah. Well, like my belief is, and again, I'm not a realtor, but my belief is, don't look at last year's budget and say, okay, that's what you're going to pay. Okay, it used to be like that. Look at last year's budget, maybe they'll increase it a little bit. But now you can have a special assessment. I saw some of them that are thousands of dollars.
Yes.
Well, the only reason you would look at last year's budget, truthfully, is because you want to see what the reserves. It's called a reserve study, so that they know that the milestone report is for repairs, etc. That's the short, easy version, and then the reserve study is how much they're kind of combined, and you want to know how much money you have left in reserve to fix those things. You know, so if you're 100% funded, 80% funded, etc., there's certain items that you have to repair. And then if you're looking at 3 stories and above on a condo, you really have to focus on that stuff.
No, absolutely.
It's very important to go to these meetings and to be a part of it, because so many people I have interacted with, they feel blindsided because it's forced upon them. You know, their HOA doubled or something. And,
yeah.
And it's like you need to be involved in what's going on, or this happens.
If I was buying a condo, I would talk to a lot of people that live there for a long time. I would try to go to a meeting if it was available and I was allowed to go. But I would definitely do, you know, stuff like that.
Due diligence.
Due diligence. All right, guys. The next thing we're going to talk about is affordability and cost of living. Okay, how have property tax and HOA fees changed, and are they turning away buyers? So, is there homes that are affordable, and then once they go get insurance, they're like, oh, I can't afford the insurance?
It just compounds. You know, the lender usually within the first couple days of getting the contract will give them much harder numbers. You know, their final monthly, and it's usually always higher than it will trickle down to, but they get sticker shock.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of times it's because of those plus.
But are you guys telling the people before they even put an offer in, you know, once you find out what the insurance would be on this house?
Well, it's not insurance. It's definitely once they see all the additional, like, you do definitely want to shop for insurance ahead of time.
But it's affecting the values, right?
Yeah, you definitely want to know. It's just, yeah, once they add it all up, and then they always factor in property tax based on what it is now with the current owner.
Right.
This is the biggest mystery to home buyers.
Yeah.
That this is not what you're going to pay. You will get reassessed next year, and your payment will go from here to there.
So that's what.
Be ready.
Yeah, that's what we're calling the golden handcuffs. I have that too. Like, my house is like almost 3,000 square feet, and I don't need that much. The kids are growing up, they moved out, but you know, I've been in the house such a long time now that my property taxes are reasonable. But if I go buy another house, I don't feel like going to paying $10,000, you know, a year for insurance. That's called the golden handcuffs.
Yeah.
Okay, so affordability, you guys both agree, is still a major issue in Florida. You think it's going to get better anytime soon?
No.
No. Sorry. It's going to take so long. I mean, for insurance to trickle down, taxes aren't going to go anywhere. So, you know, I mean, I know there was the thing that DeSantis put out and whatnot, but again, that's still going to take a significant amount of time if it ever comes to fruition.
Yeah, the county municipalities aren't going to allow that.
Yeah, that's a whole different ball of wax.
Unless he offers something in return that makes sense, which none of us know.
Right.
You know, we just haven't been privileged to how that's going to work out on the back end.
Yeah.
Are there specific loan programs or incentives that could help some of these buyers in the market that you guys can think of right now?
There's always been first-time home buyer programs.
Yeah.
There's just no first-time home buyers really that have the money.
Yeah, and I still think I had a customer who was more of a first-time home buyer, but he was older, you know. He wasn't the 20-something, you know, he was in his 30s, you know, had a good established career, and was getting married, the whole shebang. So he was technically a first-time home buyer, but he had a very established, I mean, he almost been 10 years in his career, right? Okay. So, they looked at the first-time buyer programs, but he was able just to get a better rate. The first-time buyer programs didn't really help him much.
Oh, okay.
So, and the scary thing is, I just had a listing in Lakeland, and we're going to buy the house or sell the house, and you know, I asked them what the payoffs were, you know, if they had an idea, so I could figure out that sheet. And he tells me, he said, I called the bank, got the number, everything. Come to find out, we got it under contract for the certain price because the numbers worked, you know. And then next thing, once the lender starts digging in, they get the pay, or the title company and get the payoffs. Well, they got first-time homebuyer loan assistance, which gets tacked on. It's another loan.
Oh, yeah.
Onto the loan, which they had no idea they had to pay that back.
That's crazy.
And not to mention, they got some type of COVID money as well. That, in addition, that was on top of that.
Holy smokes.
And that was only a year ago. They were still giving assistance out.
So let's talk. So let's talk about this one. New construction investment trends. Are builders slowing down new construction projects due to market shift? What do you think?
Well, they have to sell their current inventory.
Right, and I think that's very geographic driven.
Okay.
I think that's going to be like. So there was just an article that came out in Florida Realtors magazine, the digital version, this morning actually, and they were talking about how building starts were on the rise because they're starting to do more. We've just started 3 new communities out in Wesley Chapel. You know, I talked to the Build Center yesterday at Vitus Way. It's a new community that they've started, but these are all more in the affordable home price. I mean, I know you and I disagree on, you know,
affordability,
$450,000 to $550,000, you know, in affordability, but that's the market, and they have no inventory, and they have I mean, they are flying up right now.
Wow.
I mean, that place was packed.
But in the majority of our area, there is no more room.
There's no more room to grow. That's why everybody's out
there.
there.
So new construction really doesn't.
Unless you're going out to like Wesley Chapel,
Zephyr
Zephyr Hills, all that stuff.
Yeah, you have to,
parish.
Right, you've got to travel 40 some odd miles the other direction.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're not living the beach life.
No.
Okay, how are Airbnb and short-term rentals affecting the home values and the sales? So basically, are they affecting, like, are they people starting to dump their investment properties and their Airbnbs?
Yeah, you can tell by the bunk beds in the pictures.
That's good. I never thought of that one.
You see a bunk bed comes furnished.
Right.
Yeah, they're purging big time.
Are you guys seeing a increase in foreclosures and distressed properties?
Not really.
Tiny.
Tiny?
Not really.
Not yet, huh?
You see the word short sale here and there. You see the word pre-foreclosure, foreclosure here and there. I know you do the inspections for that.
Yeah.
But it's not reflecting in the numbers yet. But you know, we're always working in the rears.
Yeah,
know,
I mean, we're always 30 to 60 days
that will show
back.
itself as the year goes.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at, while Bill's looking at that up, future outlook and advice. Do you think the market will bounce back soon, or this is going to be a long-term shift?
No, long-term shift.
Long-term shift.
This is our heyday right here. I mean, if we're doing great, then this is it.
When do you think it's going to slow down?
Mid-July, as it always
Always,
does.
like just traditionally it does.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of looking at some things when we talk about numbers of sales and whatnot, you know, so in January we did, this is Tri-County area.
Yeah.
So we did 4,451 property, you know, sales. But if you look back to last year, we were at 4,595. 23 we had 4,429. And then let's just for giggles look back to pre-pandemic, you know, 4,941 in January. So traditionally it's our slower month.
Yeah.
So why don't you guys just do this? So you guys think that this is a long-term shift? Do you think we're going to have a replay of 2007, 2008?
In a different way. I think that it's definitely heading in a downward trajectory. You know, we look at the amount of layoffs across the country. It's just, we've never seen that. There's just like, it's off the chart. It's off the historical chart.
That's
how
true.
many layoffs there are. It has to reflect. It takes time. In real estate, we're always like the last. Our numbers are just so slow to roll in.
All right, what advice do you guys have for someone looking to buy in Florida right now?
Just, you've got to know your numbers. You really do. And if you're on a tight budget, I feel like the people that I'm talking to constantly, everybody wants to live on the beach. Like, I get it. They want to live the coastal lifestyle. Mm-hmm. They want to be close to all the fun stuff, no matter where it's at. Even if it's just off the beach a little bit, they want to be in, you know, the hub of everything. They want to be in, I just had another one come in today. Oh, I want to be in downtown St. Pete, you know, but if you don't have the budget for that, or you don't understand that the house is going to be from probably the 1950s.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
you know,
little weird layout.
yeah, it's going to be hard. So it's just managing those expectations, I think.
I would say if you don't have to buy right now, don't.
Oh, okay.
Time is on your
And
side.
this is a realtor sale.
Time is on your side.
And there's no rush. That's the thing. The days of settling to purchase are gone.
Okay.
You have choice and you
Yeah.
have time.
So it's a buyer's market
And
now.
ask for everything.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say it's a buyer's market, just when we look at inventory and numbers.
Balanced at the moment.
Yeah, we're pretty equal.
All right. What advice do you guys have for sellers that are struggling to sell their homes?
Oh, I fix what needs to be fixed, make it look pretty, make it a beautiful showing experience, and
Yeah.
price it the way to get buyers in the door. It can look great, but if
nobody shows
if
up.
it's overpriced,
Yeah.
I don't care what the neighbors sold for last year. That's irrelevant at
It
this
is.
point.
And we had this kind of off, this conversation off topic, or off camera rather, on this topic, and it's mulch goes a long way. Mow
Yeah.
your yard, edge your yard,
Paint.
pressure wash, paint,
Clean.
Jinx.
So do you guys have any closing remarks on what, for these people they want to buy? Wait, basically?
Well, I do. Florida's resilient all the time. We will always be a desirable place to live.
Yeah.
Our climate will always bring people. They're mad at our country right now or what have you, and where are they going to go? They're going to
Right.
end up back here. We know that if they're going to end up back here.
Yep.
This has always been a revolving door. We're used to it.
Yeah, if anybody's any questions with Kim or Bill or me and everything, comment below. Tell us what you guys think. You guys ask, do you guys think it's the proper time to buy or wait in Florida? I'll actually put out a survey on that one.
And why?
And why?
Like we've talked about this before. Why? Because that'll help us with videos too, and being able to answer your questions. Just to say the word, no, it's not the right time, but why? Is it interest rates? Is it volatility in the economy? Or is it politics, nature? You're afraid of hurricanes and just different things. So let us know why too.
Let us know why. And do me a favor. Consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps. Check out this video. It's either going to be here or here. I'm not quite sure yet, as always. But greatly appreciate it. And again, if you want to get in touch with Kim or Bill, just comment below and I'll put you in touch with them. And we'll speak to you soon. Thank you and have a great day.
See you on the next video. Thanks for watching.